And the Sterling Heights Ordinance Board of Appeals meeting is called to order for Monday, March 21, 2016. May we have a roll call, please?
DiGaetano here. Mr. Irvin.
Here.
Mrs. Giles.
Here.
Mr. Sala is absent tonight. Mr. Petroni.
Here.
And here to speak for the city is Ms. Gerstenberg.
Thank you, and we'll move on to report from the city liaison. Ms. Gerstenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to note that all of the parties on the consent agenda this evening have been notified by mail, as is required by ordinance. I'd also ask that item number 5, G160019, be moved to new business this evening. And I would like to remove the following cases from the agenda as they have been cleaned up prior to the meeting. Please remove item number 3, G160017, 38285 Warwickshire Drive. Item number 4, G160018, 38467 Warwickshire Drive. And item number 6, G160020, 39601 Van Dyke. And that completes my report for this evening.
Okay, thank you. All right, since there's no audience here tonight, that will leave our consent agenda with just item 1, the approval of minutes, the property on Metro Parkway, which is item 2. And item 3, 4, and 6 have been removed, and item 5 will put down at new business. So we'll need a first and approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, and we'll need a motion for the revised consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. No public hearings, no old business, and under new business then, I'll call our case G160019 for property at 14146 Elmhurst Drive.
Mr. Chairman, it should be just number 2 that's we're calling to new business.
No.
Right?
Case number 2 on Metro Parkway?
Yeah, Metro Parkway. I wanted that one.
Oh, okay.
Did you want the other one too?
Technically, I had
you want to
mentioned-
hear that one? Oh, okay.
I thought Ms. Gerstenberg mentioned case number 5 would go to
Yes.
new business, and case number 2
okay.
we just put
Yeah,
on
I
the
wanted-
consent agenda.
Okay, I wanted to do 2 because there's some things to add to it. So, all right, let me do 5 then.
All right.
And, okay. Number 5, let's see, this would be Craig Serafino's case, code enforcement officer. And this initial inspection date was in November 18th, 2015. There was 3 violation notices sent, and as of today, there's still, the porch is still not correct, the steps that they just need to get a permit to install the proper steps.
Okay. All right, this is the case where there was an email sent in from the homeowner. He is not able to attend tonight's meeting. He's unaware that the violation is still active. He's requesting an extension of 4 weeks so that he can complete the modifications to the stairs.
And Mr. Chairman, I do have a picture of the stairs if you'd
Okay,
like to see
thank you.
one. That's
All right, has he contacted the city, do you know, to find out? Apparently he was a little confused about what exactly had to be done.
Yeah, from what I understand, Craig had contacted him. It did start back in November. So he, but apparently this is not correct. There has to be like a 3x3 platform and then a handrail on the stairs, according to the building. With the
Yeah,
building.
it looked kind of precarious for him
yeah,
to
that's-
navigate
so-
those steps.
So he wants to do it right, so he needs some more time. So he said he'll have somebody do it. I recommended that he get a contractor to do it.
Just from the picture, it didn't look like it was Walmanized lumber. It looked like it was interior finished or varnished, like it's not gonna last too long.
Possibly and stained, yes.
Okay, so he's requesting an extension of 4 weeks. Any questions or comments from board members? If not, then we're ready for a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. DiGaetano.
I have a question for Mr. Geiger. Given the kinds of steps that have to be installed there, does it make sense that they have not been done so far, given the winter months?
Does it make, I'm sorry, that what?
Does it make some sense that they have not been completed? Is this the kind of work installing those steps that can be done when the weather is too cold?
Yeah, I don't, it's really a building issue, so they just have to, he just has to pull a permit, basically, and I guess he hasn't pulled the permit yet, so, from November.
All right.
So, yeah, there has to be, the building inspector said there has to be post sunk and everything for this,
Mm.
so,
And these steps are in the rear of the home, is
yes.
that right? Okay.
Yeah.
I have nothing further, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, I think it's maybe a little harder to do that work in the
Yeah.
winter. But I am surprised he hasn't even applied for a building permit yet. In any event, he's asking for 4 weeks, and that'll go by pretty quick. Personally, I don't have a issue with granting 4 weeks to have the job completed. Not just started, but completed. So if there's nothing further, we're ready for a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Irvin.
resolved to declare that a public nuisance exists on the property commonly known as 14146 Elmhurst Drive, and to direct the code official to abate the violations identified in the attached staff report after April 25th, which give rise to this finding. The board also authorizes and approves the imposition of a lien against the property in the amount of the cost of the abatement incurred by the city as permitted by the applicable city ordinance.
Support.
All right, the motion before us is for an abatement of the remaining nuisance condition after April 25, 2016. Any discussion? Not then, we'll need a roll call vote.
Mr. Irvin?
Yes.
DiGaetano, yes. Mrs. Giles?
Yes.
Mr. Petroni?
Yes, motion carries. Now, I don't know how we would hear that case, Mr. Geiger, procedurally, but was there something about it that we should?
Yeah, I don't know if you could reconsider it. I'd like to show it because it's going to be quite extensive a cleanup, and I think we should get it on the record. There is
let's
some
take a look.
additional items too that are not listed that I was going to add.
Pardon? Oh, it's commercial piece, yeah.
Commercial, yes, so I don't know. I mean,
Well,
if
Ms.
you can't,
Gerstenberg?
that's fine, we'll go with it as it
Do
is.
you know if we
but-
can recall this case back? If we, we've already actually had it in the consent agenda, which was voted upon.
Can you reconsider the vote and bring it back, or?
I'm not sure what,
I'm not sure if we can do that. I think we definitely need to see it
okay.
and have it be made aware publicly of everything that needs to be done there and things that perhaps aren't on the staff report now, but that do need to be included in the cleanup.
Okay, well, let's
Okay.
take a look at it, and
Okay,
if
thanks.
we need to bring it back, we can bring it back at the next meeting, I suppose.
Okay, thank you. This is, I'm Paul Geiger, Code Enforcement Coordinator, Sterling Heights. This is Mark Lazuski's case, Code Enforcement Officer. This initial inspection date is 2/19/2016. There was 2 notices sent. And here is the PowerPoint presentation. So here's the front of the property. And there you can see there's lots of things that are needed. There's a porch in disrepair. There's a roof in disrepair. There's some trim needs painting. Dumpster enclosure is full of trash. This is just the posting on the front. Here's another one from the other side front. And here, the other one was a violation posting that came back in the mail. This is the agenda posting. And you can see the railing there. There's some trim. There's dumpster doors in disrepair. And the railing around patio, that's there. There's siding needs repair, and there's graffiti. You can see here's some of the roofing that needs some repair. And here's the dumpster enclosure, which you can see is full of debris. And here's graffiti on a transformer box, and there's also a hot water tank there. And this is the thing here, it says no dumpster, number 5, but, you know, there was no dumpster, the trash was put into the dumpster enclosure. Now we also have the issue of the dumpster not being in the enclosure, because it's sitting out there. And also, you'll see in photos, that one I added today, there's additional trash and debris. We already have trash and debris on this, but we have some also in the parking lot, because there's quite a few branches, some large stuff that fell near the back of the parking lot, and here's a picture of it across the back. So that's the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm glad we took a look at them, but,
Yeah.
you know, technically, we have voted to abate the nuisance conditions
Okay.
by way of the consent agenda, so I think you're in good shape.
Sounds good.
I did
Thank you.
notice there was a door with 2, it looks like 1x2s, or it wasn't a plywood over the whole door, it just,
Yeah, it's not an occupied structure right now. I'm sure, you know, when building does, goes in there, the operator's trying to get a restaurant in there. So when that occurs, I'm sure that those will be removed. They're not gonna let them open with the door blocked.
yeah, or if it remains vacant for long, it looks, doesn't have a good look to it with those
Yeah,
2 boards.
it's not too visible.
Nailed
That is
up
in the
there.
back, so,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
There's no one here for public participation. That brings us to adjournment, for which we'll need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the meeting's adjourned at 7:15.
All right.